Copeland says, go through procedure. Well, I've gone through procedure and gone through procedure and gone through procedure, and I'm 3 weeks behind and I haven't accomplished anything yet.
Well, it's not that no one's listening to your question. We have provided you the answer. The gate's not going to be left open. 10 years ago, when that parking lot was built in the upper area and the gate was put in, it was decided that it's a property that was purchased out of hunting and fishing money. We would allow access during hunting seasons. We would allow disabled individuals to also have an access to the property. And there was a reason that gate was closed, because we discontinued the use of the lower parking lot. If we leave the gate open, there would have been no point in putting in the upper parking lot, because we would just continue to use the lower parking lot. There were all kinds of public safety issues with that. So I think we're listening, but we're giving you an answer that you don't like the answer.
No. I will pull up the article. Maybe this is an incorrect report, but your superior is basically taking the position that I believe I just heard you to say. I will repeat his quote. I think we are listening. Look at our actions. Yes, I agree. You are listening, but you are not acting. That is a complaint that the deer hunters raised, as I understand. I don't know anything about that controversy.
Specifically about deer hunters, yep.
I don't know anything of that, the specifics of that controversy, but I know that from what I can pick up, I know that there are people that are upset that it appears that you people are in the Department of Natural Resources are absolutely unresponsive. That's what the complaint is, and that you and Frank take the position that you are listening. It doesn't make a damn bit of difference if you listen, if you've already made up your mind and you're going to do everything the way you've already decided. That is a complaint, as I understand it, of the deer hunters. It has been a constant complaint that I have, is that it doesn't matter what I say, you're going to do whatever you want to do, no matter what reason and logic dictate. You're going to do what you're going to do.
Well, we've listened to the other point of view, too, that has said the overcrowding on that beach, the use of it, was getting pretty stifling, and we listened to that faction, and then the gate went up.
Well, I'm accumulating. I appreciate you offering those things, because I'm accumulating a list of these things that you are saying of your reasoning. And at some time, at some forum, I'm going to present, now these are their reasons, and I think they're excuses and not reasons, but I'll let that be. But nonetheless, if you tell me any one of your excuses as far as why the gate can't remain open during the winter, both at that site at the Mazo Beach and at the Sauk City Prairie de Sac, Sauk, whatever they call that, canoe launch.
Now we're on to not. We had this conversation about 2 weeks ago.
3 weeks ago.
Yes.
On the 23rd.
I told you why the reasons the gate aren't left open, and you told me you needed to talk to my supervisor. Now
right.
We're just having the same conversation.
And your supervisor did not know even who ran that canoe launch? She's the one responsible for it, and I have to go through her. She doesn't know who owns it. She doesn't know when and if it's open. She can't answer me any question about it, even after I specifically mentioned that. The next time we talk, she still doesn't have any information on it. It is all a dead end dealing with you people, but nonetheless, I will obviously have to deal with others. But as far as my complaint about these things not being written down and not passed along, I am going to meet with Secretary Frank. He can run, he can try and hide, but I can tell you I am going to work at trying to get up a meeting with him. And when and if I do meet with him, I want to talk of several things, but one is your manual. I want a copy of whatever the section is. I don't want the whole manual. I don't care anything about your manual. But whatever it is about what rises to the level that requires a report. I want that sent to me so I can talk knowledgeably when I speak with Secretary Frank.
Okay, well, I'm going be
No.
a fairly lengthy document, and there's probably going to be
No,
some
you were reading.
charges.
You were reading something or other to me. I assumed you were reading earlier while we were speaking of what things rise to what level that
Yep,
they require.
right, correct.
That's all I need. I just
So
need
just that one page?
whatever things reveal as far as what level is raised as far as a report. I mean, when I report illegal and inappropriate behavior by the Department of Natural Resources, whether I'm correct or not, I believe that raises an issue that someone should memorialize. Someone in your agency ought to take note. Okay. Most of the stuff now, I'll have to deal with your superiors, but let me see here as far as specifics. Hold on, please, while I read through some notes that I otherwise will skip. Let's see. Do you agree that Egan is the one that makes the determination of whether or not the gates are open or shut and when they are and when they're not? Is that her real responsibility, or is she not being accurate when I ask her and she says yes?
It's the authority, within the authority of every regional directors to make those decisions. It's also the authority of the property managers, but the property managers, because we have hundreds of gates, would go to the regional director and get, yes, and that order then is made.
So this property manager, I think you said, who's the property manager at Mazo and at Sauk City?
That position is currently vacant.
That used to be Colden's position. So now no one is in the position to
We
decide.
have a number of people who are filling in, on a part-time basis. So there's a rotating till we can get the position filled.
Well, who's in current rotation?
Her name is Beth Keenbaum, and someone else will be doing it starting in January for a couple months.
Beth who?
Keenbaum,
Spell it, please.
Kienbaum.
Letter P as in Paul, B as in Bob. In Keen Pound.
Kien. K as in king.
Yes.
B as in boy.
There's what I want. Okay. Okay.
AUM.
Okay. Do you have a telephone number for her, please?
No, I don't have
Okay.
it right here.
Okay.
I don't.
Okay. Now is she over or under
Please
Lloyd
tell
Egan?
me- we're not getting anywhere. She's, if you want to know who has the authority to open or close properties, our regional directors can do that.
Okay.
Now, they get advice from the local property managers, obviously, because, the regional directors here in Madison, if something's going on over in Horicon, they don't get in the vehicle and drive out there all the time. They may, but that is, there's kind of like a more localized, responsibility
So as
to provide that information.
in regards to Ms. Beth Keenbaum,
She
does,
has the position temporarily that Steve Colden held.
does she say, Ms. Egan, I recommend Sauk City and Mazomanie Beach gates be closed? Is that her
She
job?
doesn't have to say that because that decision was made approximately 10 years ago.
10 years, that's what I'm finding out. I'm requesting that the gate be open through the winter so I can get access to those places based on a decision made 10 years ago by someone now deceased, and I can't get someone in present day living form to address this. But that's not your thing. That
No,
is.
I understand what you're saying. You want this decision revisited. And I can't put words in Lloyd Egan's mouth, but she went back and looked at all the documentation of why the decision was made and confirmed that it was the right thing to do.
Well,
And you're
okay.
not saying, that it wasn't looked at based on your request. I think this caused her, there's all sorts of procedures in place that precede the person who comes in. And it is good to go back and say, hey, should we change this? and based on the reasoning that was at the time, we're going to continue to do it that way.
Based on reasoning at the time 10 years prior by a predeceased...
Yeah, nothing. The conditions are basically the same.
Well, okay, that's all a conversation for Ms. Egan and
Okay.
Secretary Frank. Good.
No, but I understand you're asking for us to revisit that decision. If that was looked at, since you made that contact, she wrote you the letter
Right.
and affirmed that is her decision now.
Oh, it's affirmed that that's
Not
what...
just Ruthie Badger's decision, it is hers.
Okay, based on some incorrect things is what I would say, but that's a thing I can address with her. I mean, you tell me, what would happen if the gate were left open right now? What bad thing would happen? What policy, what law, what tragedy would happen if that gate remained open through the winter?
After we had 17 inches of snow, I can only speculate that we'd have some people stuck down there because we don't maintain that road.
Well, that's incorrect. You do maintain that road. I can attest to that. I witnessed it today. You maintain that road, so that's incorrect.
Somebody plowed it? Someone did plow that road? Is that what you're saying?
That is exactly what I am
Oh.
saying.
Okay.
So does that somehow change your thinking then on that? Now that you can plow it, do you think it's okay that the gate remain open?
That surprises me because I didn't believe that any maintenance was being done on that road.
That's what Jeremy Ploutz, Mr. Ploutz, indicated when we had that heated discussion in the parking area. He kept telling me it wasn't maintained. So you are wrong. He is wrong. Ms. Egan is wrong.
What day did that take place? Just since the snowfall last week?
I seem to be the authority on DNR properties. I take that as high praise. Thank you. I appreciate that. I don't know. They haven't called me what day they're going to plow. But if you want,
No, you said you were there.
I was
it
there.
Has been done.
That's correct. That is what I indicated. I was there today, and today I can attest that I looked at the road and it is plowed. It is plowed.
All right.
What would be wrong with my driving down now that it's plowed?
If you have a disabled permit, we are happy to give you a key.
Well, I understood disabled didn't even qualify for winter, but nonetheless, I don't have that. What would be wrong with someone not being disabled driving down there through the winter months? What would be wrong with that?
It would be illegal, and you'd be cited.
No. I'm asking as far as a position of the DNR. What would be wrong with you opening up the gate and letting people that want to go and see their own river? This is my river. This belongs to me. This is your river. This is my river. I want to see my river. That is very simple. What would be wrong with you opening the gate and letting me drive down and look at the river? We understand that the road can be maintained because it was maintained.
You know, we're going in circles.
We're not going in circles.
I have the authority to make that.
No one.
You're asking me if it can be opened, and I'm telling you that decisions have been made based on a whole totality of circumstances, the fact that we don't have an established parking lot down there.
Of course you do. Don't lie to me.
Please, just let me finish. You're asking the wrong person. I thought we were going to talk about the wardens, which I can answer, the wardens having written a report. And now we're actually visiting something that we discussed a couple weeks ago.
Right.
You wanted to talk to my supervisor because I am not. First of all, I'm not a property manager. I'm a law enforcement officer. If I'm told that this is a prohibited area for motor vehicles, and I find somebody in there, my job is not to change the rule. It's to go out and cite the person or make sure that they leave the property. If someone is camping down there and we have a rule that says they can't, we evict that person. So if they have open intoxicants, if they're driving drunk, this is my venue. It is not